I'm not going to be on here long today. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So, welcome to another India Talk, where today I am revisiting this day last year. And this is a series. I the name of the series, I, I was calling the name of the series, My Ex Locked Me Up in a Psych Ward. I think that's a pretty good name. But I'm just recapping every day, each day of this time last year. One, as a way to be my own form of therapy and release this, let it go, move on with my life, and not have to have it haunting me. Because I've never gotten to talk about any of this stuff. Like, my ex locked me up, put me away, left me there, taunted, chastised me whenever I did get to speak to him. And I've been totally traumatized from this experience. On top of that, when I got out, I still looked for him for shelter and for love and for advice. And anytime I would try to talk to him about my experience of what happened, he would tell me to shut up and take medication. And then I got sent to therapy literally right after all of this. I was sent to therapy where the therapist told me my husband did this for my benefit and that he was helping me and to not harp on the experience and to focus on my relationship. And then, I did therapy for 11 months, just shy of a year. And right at the last 2 months, I got a new therapist who just told me not to talk about him, not to talk about the experience. And I got to meet with her like twice because she was calling out all the time. So I've never gotten to digress. It's something that I think about daily. It's something that I'm very traumatized from. And so I think to go through something as traumatic as I did and not be able to talk about it and not be able to digress, not be able to let it go, not be able to process it has been something that I just can't even put a word or wrap my head around this entire experience. So God has told me to talk about it because everyone keeps trying to silence me and to shut me up. And my voice is very powerful. And the experience that I went through, even after all of this, I have learned how common this is for other women, especially. So, like I said, God, I'm doing what God told me to do, which is share my story and to not wait for somebody to give me an opportunity to share my story. I have plenty of outlets. So I've chosen my YouTube page to one, be consistent and show up and be dedicated to me being consistent of showing up on here every single day. And then this is a great outlet to be able to do that. And then when I'm able to talk about this and move on and let it go, I can get back to teaching and sharing thought provoking content with you guys to help you turn your life into a lifestyle and to help you progress and get better in your daily life because I have so much experience and so many accomplishments that I have made. And this is not the end of my story. It's actually the beginning, and I'm in a state of transformation. So while I go through that state, I don't want time to pass. And this is like 5 years later, and then I'm trying to recap this. I want to let it go and move on with my life. So I thought about the best way to do that is to show up here every day. And it's no longer in real time, but it is each day of last year that this happened that I am going to show up here. So today, I ended yesterday's live talking about how I stayed up all night and I was able to sit in the staff not the staff. I was able to sit in the lounge, and I sat there and I stared at the exercises on the wall, particularly one that told me to breathe in and breathe out, pretending you were smelling the soup and blowing the steam. So that's what I did all night, processing what the hell this man has done to me and how he left me here and how he laughed in my ear on the phone when I called him and told him that you shipped me here and I'm going to be here for 3 days. At least that's what I thought. So I just had to process all the stuff the last 3 days. And then in the morning, the other people that were on the unit finally got up because I was there all night by myself, just sitting there. And I refused to go in the room that they had put me in. So when everyone came in the common room that I was in and they turned the TV onto the news, I don't watch TV and I definitely don't watch the news. I asked the nurse to let me into what was called the sunroom, which is kind of like where I'm sitting now. It was just a room with windows with the sun shining in, and you can look into the fake oasis of wherever I was because at the time I didn't know where I was. I stayed in this room, which was called the sunroom, all day. So on this side, it was big windows, like how I'm facing and looking out the windows where I am right now in this cafe. And then this side was all windows, and this is where I could look out and see all the staff, and I could see everybody sitting in the common area watching TV. I chose to look out the window most of the day because when I would turn and look at like what the patients were doing, whatever you want to call them, they were also like chastising me, like sticking up their middle finger, pointing, shooting like they were shooting a gun, like sticking out there. It was weird. I was like, where the fuck am I? I'm gonna kill this man, yo. I'm gonna kill this man. So I like stayed in there all day. And then I do remember a particular staff trying to scare me, for lack of words. Hi, Hefe, thanks for joining. Um, thanks for commenting. There was a staff, he like bust open the door and he was like, India, let's go. It's time for breakfast. And I refused breakfast. And he was trying to tell me that I can't refuse breakfast. And I told him that I know my rights. You cannot make me eat. Get the fuck out of here and close the door. And then I asked him, I'm like, what's your name? And he lied and told me that his name was Mike, and it wasn't. And I knew that his name wasn't Mike. And he didn't have his badge on, and he had this horrible, overbearing cologne on and smelled terrible. So I told him to get out. He slammed the door. And then another man came in the room. It was all these men trying to intimidate me. Another man came into the room and he was pretending to be a doctor and he wasn't. And he was like, I'm your doctor. Tell me why you're here. Do you know what day it is? Do you know this? And I was like, you're not my fucking doctor. Get out of here. I don't want to be bothered with anyone. This is why I asked to be locked inside of this room. Get out. And I was like, I will know when my doctor. I will know. You are not my doctor. And he left. And then I was in there for a while. And then like after lunchtime, the nurse had came into the room and he said, India, your husband called and he left this number for you to call him whenever you want. Today's your birthday, Hefe. Happy birthday. Happiest birthday. I love that for you. I hope you enjoy your day and I wish you many more. So the nurse came in and gave me that note. So I looked at the note. The note had the name Lamar, and that's not my ex's name. It's actually his dad's name. And then the number was a 508 area code, which where we live is 413. So I called the nurse back into the room and I started to explain to him, I'm like, no one's listening to me. No one's checking out anything that I'm saying. This is not even my husband, like my husband who's not my husband. This is not his name. And this is not, we don't have a 508 area code. We have a 413. So this is what I'm telling you. I was strategically placed here and he's playing games. I don't have time for this. And I was just elaborating over the night of what happened and or the day. And literally he tried to snatch the paper from me and I was like, I said hi, Hefe. Did you not hear me? um he snatched the paper from me and I'm like, oh, now you're confiscating evidence. Give it to me. And he gave it to me and then he left out the room and I was like, please, like, notify, like, tell the doctor, tell someone about like what I'm saying. And I literally watched him because, like I said, everything was glass there. It was almost like you're a fish in a fish bowl. I watched him go out of the door and then stand in front of me to other staff, and he pointed at me, and then he was like doing this, like she's crazy, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I knew that he never told anybody what I said. And so I basically stayed in this room all day. I refused to eat. I refused to drink. Now, in this room was supposedly a camera. So I was in that room doing mad shit. When I was downstairs getting intake, Marcy slipped me a pen. That's what I'm saying. Why stop slipping me a pen and like things I shouldn't have, it being locked in a psych ward? I worked in a psych ward for several years, so I know you're not supposed to have this stuff, but she slipped me a pen. So I was like writing shit on the wall, like writing testimony. I had a folder that they had given me. So in the folder, I was documenting everything that was happening. I was taking notes of the nurse's name and like what he did and like how these people were like trying to intimidate me. I was writing out stuff because I knew that nobody was listening to me or checking into anything that I said. I thank you, Hefe. At least somebody feels. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I want you to like be inspired that people can't hold you down unless you allow them to, and life takes you to unexpected places, usually for a reason, but reasons always come before answers. And yeah, life is funny, God is funnier. So I was in there writing, and then like I had a cup. I had asked for a cup from one of the staff for water, so she gave me a cup of water, and I that was the only thing I had to drink all day, and I kept this cup. And now in that cup, there was a hole in the wall. And like I never wanted to leave the room after the previous night, and I went and used the bathroom. I didn't want to leave this room. I was scared. I'm not kidding. I was so scared. I didn't know where I was at. And like I said, the staff was trying to intimidate me. The patients there they were just doing weird shit. I was like, I'm staying in this room all day. So I was using this cup. And after I finished drinking the water in the cup, I used the cup for two things. I peed in it a few times, and I needed to discard of it. They didn't even see me, and I was like, oh, I hit it. I held it up to the camera because I was like, these cameras don't fucking work. I knew that they didn't, and if they did, we'll find out when I sue this place. I poured my pee into the hole. There happened to be like this hole right in the wall. It was like perfect little place. And then also throughout the day, I had noticed that my hands had turned orange, right? Now, this is before, and I noticed that my pee was like a different color and everything smelled like iodine. And so it made me think about like, well, what did I have to eat or drink before this cup of water? The only thing I had was the food and the drink that my ex gave me. And so, and I also I was smelling like his dad for some reason. I don't know. So I was like, and he has a lot of access to medication. He works at a place where he passes out meds. His dad was on a lot of meds, so he could have put anything in that charcoal drink. 'Cause like I said, the drink was black. Beautiful fingers. Welcome, Eric. Also, side note, Eric, I do have some nail videos in my page. They're all in my shorts, but I will do a story time and do my nails one day for you. So I was like, oh shit, this man poisoned me, because why am I smelling like iodine? Why are my hands orange? And my pee was very orange and it had the same smell. And was trying to get somebody to verify. Like they wouldn't smell my hands, they wouldn't check anything that I was saying. And then I also was spitting up stuff. So I had kept the cup and I was like spitting in the cup and I just had it sitting like in the windowsill, and all I could do was stare out and look at the clouds all day and look at the sun and look at this fucking fake oasis that I had to stare at. And nobody checked into what I said. No, nobody. It's like, and it's given. I understand because I used to work on a psych floor. So I understand that when people are saying stuff that you don't understand, it's like, oh, that person is crazy. You must be crazy. That's why you're here. And then anything you say is not validated. It's just, you're crazy. You're talking crazy. You're talking nonsense. You're not making any fucking sense. I told these people that I was a business owner. I have a child with special needs. Everything I said was a lie, lie, lie. And it just validated more stuff that I'm paranoid. I have all these mental issues going on according to them. So anyways, I stayed in the room all day. The day was basically over, and I never seen the real doctor or nobody. And it came nighttime. Now the nighttime staff came. The day was over, and it was change of shifts. And there was a lady that came in the room, and she's like, "You can't stay in here all night." And I was like, "Why? I've been in here all day." And she couldn't give me a very valid reason. So I was like, "Unless you can give me a very valid reason." I stayed in here all day, and then the night before, I didn't. I've never went in any room. I stayed out in the common room. So I was like, "If you don't want me in this room, I'm gonna go in the common room. I'm not going in one of those bedrooms." And she was giving me a lot of attitude, like, "You're gonna do what I tell you to do." You don't know me. I challenge authority on all costs. So I don't know what you're talking about, lady, but had a nasty attitude. And then I said, she kept threatening me. She kept coming back in there threatening me, and she sent another lady in there to threaten me. And at that point in time, I was just like, "Yo, if y'all feeling froggy, fucking leap, yo. I'm not coming out this room. Now you're threatening me, y'all. I'm gonna fight y'all." Cause I just been wanting to like release my anger, yo. Like I don't know where I am, and I'm not gonna deal with people keep trying to intimidate me every fucking day. And I'm here, nobody checking into what I'm saying. So you want me out this room? Y'all gonna have to fight me out this fucking room. Hi, Hefe. Also cute. Thank you, Cat and Moose. So that's exactly what happened. They called a code. Now, because it was at nighttime, it was all female staff. They called a code, and three male staff came upstairs. Like I'm supposed to get fucking scared. I've had to fight my brother. I've had to fight my sister, and I've had to fight my mom. I've had to fight so many people that just like think that they can intimidate me and talk shit and think I'm gonna back down from a fight. No. So the three men came up and only one man came in the room. And now, like I said, he was trying to intimidate me. So he came in very brolic, talking loud, like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." And I said, "If you come over here," I like backed myself into the corner. I said, "If you come close to me, I'm gonna fucking swing on you." And he didn't believe me. So he came and tried to like grab me, and I swung on him. I swung on him, and I was able to hit him twice, like boom, boom. And then the rest of the two, once they see me swing on him, they came and they grabbed my arms, they grabbed my feet, and they brung me into the seclusion room. Like I couldn't remember that when I was trying to write my post, but I was feeling good because like the guy that tried to intimidate me that I swung on, he ended up having a really big knot on his head, and he was pissed. And then at this point, it was like on go from there. They put me in the seclusion room, but before they put me in there, they were trying to sedate me again. And like I said, I only had a Johnny on, and my back was out, my butt was out, everything. They never gave me any fucking clothes, yo, nothing. That shit is ridiculous. I will never get over this shit, yo. Anyways, before they did, they closed me in there. Now it was two rooms, so it was like the doors here, and then the door to the actual seclusion is here. So they put me in this little tiny hallway before they put me in the seclusion room because the nurse was trying to get the. I think they gave me Ativan again. The nurse was trying to get the stuff. So now I'm banging on the little window because there's like a little window. Now I am acting like a crazy irate person. I'm banging on the window like, "You can't keep me in here. Open the fucking door. Open the fucking door." And they're like, "It's late at night. You can't be making all this noise." I said, "I don't give a fuck. Like this is a psych unit. This ain't like somebody's home and they're sleeping." And then they were like, "We're gonna sedate you. We're gonna sedate you." And I said, "Whoever opens this door now, I am gonna act like a psych patient. I worked on these fucking floors. I'm gonna start spitting on whoever opens this door. I'm gonna start spitting and swinging and kicking because y'all got me fucked up." And they were all like putting on gloves, like putting on all stuff. And then they opened the door, and that's just exactly what I started doing. I was able to spit on like four people. I started kicking and swinging, and I hit a couple more people. And then they put me up against the wall and held my arms and held my legs, like spread my legs out. And then the nurse who was originally giving me the attitude at first, um, she loved it. She loved shooting me in my ass with Ativan. She like got a thrill of it. That's why I got out the medical field because that shit is weird, yo. And I was like, when she did it, I forget what she said, but she said some weird shit. And it was almost like a pump up. I was like, "Oh shit, you shouldn't have did that. I'm charging up now." I was really channeling, like acting like how I remember seeing people act when I worked on a psych ward. Because why the fuck am I here, yo? And nobody's checking into what I'm saying. And now I'm being violated. I have no clothes on. All types of shit was going on. And then they like opened the door and shoved me in the seclusion room. Now this was like a big seclusion room. Nothing was in there. It was completely empty, and there was like people were carved weird shit into the walls and the floor and the door. It was all shit to try to make you feel like you're going crazy. And then I like backed myself in the corner because the staff kept trying to come look in the little window, and then they were yelling at me through the window like, "Get out the corner. We can't see you." Mind you, there's a big camera in the room. So I'm like, fucking watch me on the cameras. If these fucking cameras really fucking work, I know they don't work because I was just doing mad shit in that sunroom and nobody came and said anything to me. So I don't have to get out the fucking corner. So I stayed out the corner and they kept trying to come to the window and try to threaten me to get out the corner until I guess they got tired because now it's 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. And they kept me in there all night until the morning staff came in. And then the morning staff came in, and it was like one of the guys with locks, and he was really nice. And he came in, and he was like, "Are you ready to come out of here?" And I was like, "Yes." And then he was like, "We are you going to go to your room?" And I said, "Not that room number 6. Did you move my room?" And then he was like, "Yeah, we moved your room." So they moved me down, and I was in room number 9. And 9 is my number. So I was like, "Oh yeah, this is more of my room." And then the room, you wasn't in the rooms by yourself on that unit. You had a share room. So I had a roommate named Sherry. She was so sweet. All she did was sleep all day because that bitch was like drugged up, and she was always just like, "Oh, I'm so depressed." But she was so nice. Like she gave me some of her hair ties. I was like, "How did you get your hair ties in here? They didn't take them from you?" And because you're not supposed to have none of that stuff on a psych ward. But that's pretty much the story until tomorrow. I got in the room and then I was in my room and I was able to take a shower. So the good thing is that you had a full bathroom and a full shower. Obviously, that we had to share. So I was able to take a shower, and I was actually feeling like a real person. That they gave me another Johnny to like cover up my back because, like I said, I only had one Johnny on and my ass was out. So they gave me another Johnny from wherever they fucking got it from. So then I had was able to shower and put on 2 Johnnies and stay in my room all day until somebody came to check in on me. And I refused to eat or drink again that full day. But I'll come back tomorrow with a full report of how the 30th went. The other thing is, I was pissed this day last year, because today's July 29th and it's my brother's birthday. So I was really upset because I'm like, Dad, the last time I talked to my brother, I told him that I would be coming to his house and seeing him on his birthday, like I always do, and give him a present because I had something for him. I personally went shopping and got something for him that same day I last talked to him with my nephew. And then I was like, and on top of that, my brother, nobody knows I'm in here because this man just locked me away and nobody knows I'm here. And he took my phone intentionally so I couldn't call nobody, I couldn't text nobody, I couldn't post about it, nothing. So I was like, nobody knows I'm here. I'm like, wait till I talk to my fucking brother, yo. Because my brother, he is my brother's friend. So I was like, I can't wait to talk to my brother because my brother's gonna whoop your ass. And I learned the hard way, but I'll share those stories at the appropriate days. But I was just in there. At least I was able to finally get a shower and not have my ass out, yo. Such a crazy time, crazy story. And like I said, I will be suing these hospitals because I never knew that somebody could just walk you in a hospital and say they're your husband and that they advocate for you. You can't speak for yourself. Nobody checks into anything somebody's saying, and then lock you up, keep you locked up, sedate you, seclude you in section 12 your ass, yo. So life is funny, God's funnier. But that was the story for today. Try to keep it short and sweet. So much be happening that it's kind of hard, and I just want to talk. I don't want to feel pressured to like be on the time limit or any of that stuff. But that was the story for today. Do you guys have any questions? The other thing is I keep setting my live for public, and then some whenever I'm recording it's private. So I don't know if a lot of people are seeing my stories anymore. I already said everything to everyone that commented. So thank you for tuning in. Hefe, I hope you have an amazing birthday today. Thank you, Eric. Beautiful fingers. Oh, Eric, I asked you to elaborate on your comment yesterday of tag lonely. You said I had a lonely voice, lonely, compassionate voice, something like that. And I was like, what does that mean? I don't know. Somebody's always saying something about my voice. Hence to why I'm just gonna talk. I'm gonna keep on talking. Because motherfuckers tried to silence me. They tried to shut me up. They tried to lock me away and keep me there and take my kid away from me. No. I was in Mama Bear, Polar Bear, right? Because they said I'm bipolar. Fucking bipolar. So I'll be brown bear, black bear, polar bear, whatever you want to call me, mama bear, especially when you try to do something to me or my child. So that was the story. I'm in here. I'm in Tower Square downtown. I'm about to eat a little something, and then I gotta get my daughter from school. But it feels good to like release this stuff and just talk about it openly, freely. I really wish that you guys would like ask me some questions about my experience. That's why I stopped going to therapy because it was just like this. Like I'm talking to myself and somebody's just staring at me. I don't know what you're thinking or how you're processing it, but it's allowing me to process it and just like woosah. And that's what's important to me. That was something I learned about being bipolar is that I fixate on things and I ruminate on things and I have to talk about something over and over and over and over and over until I understand why that happens. And so I don't have any answer from the person who did this to me. And so I crashed out about it at the beginning of the year on my Facebook and my Instagram. And at that time, I was like way too worked up on my emotions, and I've processed a lot of stuff since. So I'm just coming on here to share my story, share my trauma, my crazy experience. I have a lifetime of crazy experiences, and yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for engaging. Thanks for saying hi. You guys are amazing, beautiful, and I hope that the weather's nice wherever you are. It's like almost 100 degrees here, so I'm loving it while it lasts. And until then, I hope that you remember to turn your life into a lifestyle and don't let anybody put you in a box because people try to put you in a box because they can't get out of theirs.